Okay, y'all, I was in the middle of recording this second video and I was going in on Mr. Sterns, but it cut off on me because we had a power glitch twice back to back. So it messed up my video. So I'm starting over. But um to catch you up with where I am, Mr. Sterns, the police asked Mr. Sterns, so when did you come back up or when did you come back up here? Because you stay down south, right? And Mr. Stearns replies, yes. So the female officer is like, okay, so when did you come back up here to help out? He said that it was Sunday. He said, Sunday? Yeah, because Sunday was her birthday party. So it was the evening after her birthday party, so it was Sunday. That made no damn sense because both days can't be Sunday. If you say that Madeline's birthday was Sunday, because I'm assuming he's using Sunday as a frame of reference for him to think about when he got there. Nonetheless, if you're using Sunday and saying that it was Sunday because it was Madeline's birthday party, and then you say it would have been the evening after her birthday parties, and the officer says so Sunday, and he's like, yes. I'm like, huh? What the hell? He just said two different things. He first said that he got there on Sunday. He got there on Sunday, but then he said he got there the evening after Madeline's birthday, which was Sunday. That's what he said. Those are two different things, sir. I'm not sure what the hell you doing. And so then the female officer asked him, so what time would this have been? He said he got there around 8:30ish. That's what he said, 8:30ish, because he's not specific with time. He's not specific. He's doing that on purpose. In this particular situation, he's not being specific with his time. He's not being as accurate as he can be. Everything is guesstimated, and it's like he's guessing out of nowhere or something with his answers. I'm confused. I went in on how I didn't understand the mother or understand the mother's frame of mind during this time, leaving this man with her daughter alone. And it's like, for me as a mother, I know I don't easily trust anyone, period. So of course it's going to be 10 times that when it comes to my children. It's going to be 20 times that when we're dealing with a man. Because now we're dealing with the opposite sex. Somebody way more experienced in life being around my daughter, my teenage daughter. And then if this is 8:30 or something at night, you're waiting for the mom to get home. You said that he said that he was making sure that Madeline did all her nighttime routine stuff. And he was waiting for the mom to get home. So not only was the mom leaving this daughter with this man alone, but she was doing it at night. Whether he would be with her in the evening time. So my question is, how long is he with the daughter? And how long is he with the daughter outside of the mother? Those are some questions that I would have for the mother. What was going on with you in this situation here? So he's waiting for the mother to get home. This is at night. The female officer is like, okay, did you guys go anywhere that night? And he eventually answers the question because there's some miscellaneous stuff that was said and I couldn't make it out. But eventually he says he didn't recall. And that's where we at now, where he's answering the officer about whether or not they went anywhere. that night. He said he didn't recall. He was so zonked out on Ativan. At that point, he was a wreck. Keep in mind that he's throwing out there that he may not have been in his right mind, or he may have a reason to not remember everything because he was on medication. That is exactly what he's doing here. Whether anybody understands that or not, But what I see, and in my opinion, or what I hear this man is doing is he's doing something called or he's making a case for plausible deniability here, where he's throwing out possibilities, but those possibilities make it difficult for you to hold him accountable. It's difficult to pinpoint him, or it's difficult to say he knew, or he intentionally did, or he knew, he was aware. He's making it difficult for you to do that because this is what happens when you feign ignorance, and then you put it out there that you're on medication. So he just said that he was on some medication called Ativan. So now he's talking to a male interviewer. He said he don't recall us. This is his words. I don't recall us going anywhere last night. But honestly, at that point, my brain was mush. And I was on so many tranquilizers to keep me stable. So he's throwing it out there he wants you to pay attention to him having drugs in his system and his brain being mush. I'm assuming that being mush means that he was incoherent. That's the only way that I can take that. Given the context of what he's saying, what he's talking about in this situation. But he's putting that out there for a reason. Remember, a lot of these types of people tend to be very strategic and methodical in their ways of thinking. They're very strategic and methodical. So they could very, very well intentionally be feigning ignorance with you as a means to an end. And that's all I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to say about that. So at this point, like I said, he's talking to a male interviewer, and they're going back to the McDonald's situation. The officer says you make a U-turn, you go back to the McDonald's, but you said that she still doesn't want the McDonald's. And so by she, we can presume that the officer is talking about Madeline, because we know that Mr. Sterns referenced Ms. Madeline not wanting McDonald's. So since we're talking about McDonald's, we can presume that the officer is talking about Ms. Madeline at this point. So she doesn't want McDonald's. And Mr. Sterns is like, yeah, she still didn't want the McDonald's. She was going to just eat the Danishes that I gave her. This is the first time we're hearing about Danishes. When did you give her Danishes? Did you give her Danishes before you left the house? Did you stop at a store and get Danishes? Did you have Danishes in the car? When did you give her a Danish? Because you didn't mention it before. And then the other question is, if you had Danishes in the car, or if you had Danishes in the house that you gave her, where did McDonald's come in? Why would McDonald's come in? I mean, because okay, because you you said when y'all left the house that y'all were gonna go get McDonald's. You didn't mention giving her a Danish at that point. When you were in the car and you were driving to McDonald's, You said she told you she didn't want McDonald's at that point. So is that when you gave her the Danish? Because if you did, you didn't mention that either. So where the hell did the Danish come from? And I'm assuming she had these Danishes in her bag. Did she have them in her bag? Did she have them in her hand? Where did she have the Danishes? Because that's important. If they come across any of her items that she had with her that day, the Danish could have been a part of that item, and there you go. This is Miss Madeline. Like, if it was a situation where Miss Madeline was missing and nobody knew where she was, people are looking for it, and people are stumbling upon things and bringing it to the police's attention. If somebody stumbles upon Miss, if she was dead, if somebody stumbled across her stuff, and even if she wasn't dead, she just was still missing. If somebody stumbled across her stuff, they would recognize it because you said something. So this is the first time we're hearing about a Danish. Okay, so now the officer is tracking the direction he's going. The officer says, so you're going up here now. And I want to say that he's showing him something. He has to be showing him either GPS or a map or something. He says, so you're going up here now, still northbound on J. Young Parkway. Because I don't know if I said this in the first video, but if he said that he dropped Madeline off and then he went to a vape shop. Okay, so he was going to McDonald's. She didn't want to go to McDonald's, so he took her to school. He said that she wanted to be dropped off some distance away from her school because she was in this phase where she was particular about what kind of vehicle she got out of. And I was saying how that sounds so cliche. It's such a plausible statement. But you'll find that this man keeps making plausible statements. That's not what that is, though. What he's doing is making it hard for you to prove his case. That's what he's doing. So the officer at this point is trying to track him to see if what he said so far is matching up with where his car is supposed to be going. Okay, that's why I believe, or where the direction he should be traveling, giving his timeline that he's provided. That's what's going on here. So he was north on this parkway. The officer says, then you make a left at Town Center and then make a right onto somewhere, wherever this is where her school is. But he didn't drop her off in front of her school. Remember, he said that it was early. It was still early. And she said that she was just going to hang out with her friends. So he's going to drop her off right now as the cop is going through the timeline. He's paying attention to what he's saying he was doing and what direction he said he was going in terms of the timeline he gave. So Mr. Sterns is saying that at this point, he's dropping her off to school. But remember, he's dropping her off to school some distance from the school because she had a thing. Yep. Now, according to what the officer is saying now, it sounds like there's an issue with the route he's traveling and what he's saying he did. So let's keep going. So he's telling him, the officer is telling Mr. Sterns that you're still northbound. So he's saying he would have been made turns and turned left and right and all of this. This is what he's saying. So something's wrong with his traveling. The story he's telling about his traveling is not adding up because of where he said he was going, when he said he was going, what he was doing. It's not adding up. So he's still northbound. And so the officer's like, okay, so why is your car seen going southbound at 8:10? See, This right here is why it's not good to start off with deception. Because you're gonna get caught up every fucking time. You gonna get caught up in your story. Especially if you one of those people who like to think that you have carefully planned and thought out every fucking thing, not realizing that there are those of us out there who can read your body language like we see inside your soul. Okay, I'm one of them. I can read these types of people whom you cannot gauge their accountability or responsibility simply off of what they tell you. You cannot. This is the type of person you cannot. You have to use you got to use your emotional instinct, because a lot of times these people have inconsistent emotional responses, inconsistent emotional expressions. Like when it comes to different types of emotions, you will not get variations of emotional expressions with these types of people. So you have to be able to discern. You have to be able to read nonverbal and verbal behaviors and responses. And you also have to have emotional intelligence in order to read these types of people, because their emotional expressions vary, or they not vary, but they can seem inconsistent or unrelatable to the situation or a person. If somebody is telling the truth, it's going to show on the outside. Just like if somebody's telling a lie, it is going to show on the outside. These strategic and methodical type people know that tangible evidence is the best evidence to be found guilty or to be proven guilty. So these types of people are going to try and cover all of those possible scenarios by making sure you have the least amount of tangible evidence to use against them. And or they're going to be thinking about what to tell anyone who has questions about things that they have done or could possibly have been involved in that could harm their status or harm their reputation or cause inconvenience to their situation. They're going to think about those things, and they're going to try to cover the tracks for those. But in terms of this person right here, he has just been caught up by the police. He said, okay, this is not adding up to what you said. Okay, according to you, you were going northbound. So why is your car being seen going southbound? At 8:10. Now, mind you, the reason why that time of 8:10 is important is because he gave a time, he had to give a time for when he left the house with Miss Madeline to the time he dropped Miss Madeline off and the rest of his day. Now, the times he gave of being with Miss Madeline was between 07:15. Was from 7:15 in the morning to around 8:20 something in the morning. So during this time, this is the time frame he gave for being with Miss Madeline prior to him dropping her off. But the camera or surveillance is showing. And the other thing is, Mr. Sterns said after he dropped Miss Madeline off, He went to the vape shop, but the vape shop wasn't open. So he left there and he came back around 9 something. It was 9 something, like 9 something or 10. He said that he went back to the vape shop. Okay, so he's providing them with a timeline now, but now they're about to get him because the way he was describing his traveling, he was making it seem like he was going in one direction. And then police did the tracking and put it all together of what he said he was doing and where he was at. And on the map, it shows that he was going in the opposite direction. And he was caught going in that opposite direction at the time that he had Madeline in the car. I mean, so you going in the opposite direction of where you're supposed to be going with Miss Madeline in the car? Why is that? And so the officer is about to show Mr. Sterns where his vehicle was spotted at. He's about to show him that surveillance. So he's showing him McDonald's. And he's over at, and he says at 8:10, your car is seen going southbound at this intersection. So Mr. Sterns is saying that he had forgotten his gate clicker. I'm sorry, I forgot. I had gone back to the house real quick. He's already put it out there that, he's on medication. He's already put that out there. So it sets the stage for when he was operating coherently or not coherently. It's bringing awareness to him possibly not remembering. Okay, he's trying to tie this shit. Excuse my language. He's trying to tie this stuff together. See, it's all about what you say, what is recorded, and what can be. I'm sorry. Just a minute.